Hey, what's going on? What is going on? Cycling through your life, episode 16. Okay, I missed a week or so, a little more actually. I did a post. Said I was working on a passion, and I had to put the post back. I'm a musician. I'm a producer, and I was inspired to start a new project. And I just didn't have the time to do both with the recording and the editing. And then I had a couple of false starts with some episodes that I wanted to do, but it didn't really pan out the way I liked it. So, but hey, that's all behind me. This morning is a beautiful Sunday morning. It's actually really nice. Very nice out here. I don't need all of this crap I got on actually, but it is what it is. I'm out here now. So yeah. So this episode, okay, let me say about something about cycling through and the direction of this talk or these podcasts or these videos. I'm just following a stream of consciousness type situation. I'm just, I'm just following it, So where it goes is where it's gonna go. I'm open. Like I always ask for direction from some people, or that do join me on these things to come up with some ideas, or you might just say go back to cycling and just stay on the bicycle and that'll be that. Don't even try to do anything else. But the whole idea of aging and maturing and cycling through different parts of your life is kind of at the forefront for me right now. So I'm gonna talk about it. So these last week or so, 10 days, I've been having conversations and thinking about dimensions. It just came out of nowhere, it seems, but it seems like your timeline knows more about you than you do, but that's a whole nother, that's another discussion completely. But I got into researching dimensions for some reason. First dimension, second dimension, third dimension, fourth. We don't have to go any higher than fourth because it's already fourth is already confusing or complicated. Let me say that. But first, let me just explain what the dimensions are and how, and then I'll equate it to, or I will relate it to cycling through in different stages of your life. Okay. The first dimension would be considered either a dot or a straight line, right? Now, it only has length. You can only put a line this way or this way, a length or that way. So there's nothing else you could do with that. Maybe you could connect the line and that would be a circle, but that would still be just one dimension. It'll be flat. There's no way you can go with that. That was a theoretical thing I was looking at where this woman math person theorized that you could take the line and make a circle out of it, but I'm not going to go there. The next dimension is combining. On a flat piece of paper, you could draw a line this way, and then you could make a box out of it actually. But that's all that you could do. If you were a person in the second dimension and I drew a box around you, because you were flat, the box is flat, or flat as the piece of paper, let me put it that way, you wouldn't be able to get out of that box because you're all on the same plane. That's only two dimensions you have to work with. All right, now the three dimension I hope I'm saying this right. But anyway, now you can have perspective on something. If you were drawing it on a piece of paper, if you're putting something on the paper, you'd be able to look around the paper because it has three dimensions. You can measure it this way, you can measure it that way, and you can measure it this way, right? So those are the three dimensions. Now the fourth dimension, this is where things get a little tricky. And I would say there's some controversy about what exactly the fourth dimension is, but the fourth dimension is time. In the fourth dimension, if you are a fourth dimensional being, you will see time as one continuous thing. You can see the past, you can see the present, and you can see the future. It'll be just one thing. Along with the other three dimensions, we would add the dimension of time, which you'd be able to transverse based on what you want to do. If you would put a fourth dimensional being into a cage, they would just go back to a time when they weren't in the cage. They could see a time when they weren't in the cage and they could just go there, or see a time when there's not in the cage, forward or backward or whatever. So I hope it wasn't too confusing. I mean, it's a little bit, first dimension is just one dimension. Second dimension is the length and this on a page. Third dimension is this, plus this, plus this. And the fourth dimension is this, plus this, plus this, plus time. Okay, now that's one way to look at it, right? Now, I've listened to some spiritual folks, and they talk about density, right? They consider first density, second density, third density, fourth, fifth, and so on. And the more you go up, the less dense things become. The more, I would say, fluid, or the more you're able to transverse different spaces, right? So we're considered in the third dimension, or third density, which is, well, there's supposed to be 11 dimensions, so this would be considered pretty thick, pretty dense. So as you transverse, as you become more aware, according to their perspective, you go higher in the densities, right? In terms of your perception. And when you get to the fourth density, you're able to, let's say, astral travel. You're able to project yourself into spaces spiritually that you're not there physically. Oh boy, we got a truck coming in. You're able to do these things because you have elevated yourself to a level where you can. So that's another thing. That kind of involves time, because if you're spiritually on the fourth density, wow, this guy is. If you're spiritually on the fourth density, you can transverse time. You can go to the past. You can go to the future. You can go to different spaces. Walls or things like that wouldn't be a hindrance for you. Or they come in to take away the art that's been here also. Yeah, I guess it's time. Yeah, so that's my thinking anyway. And I believe that everything can relate to everything else. The dimensions is pure math in a sense. They just use mathematics and they continue these formulas and extend them, and this is what they get. So they're messing with time in the fourth dimension, along with the other three dimensions. Just like on the third dimension, you're messing with the depth plus the other two, and so on, going down. So now we're on the spiritual, right? So you can see it as dimensions, you can see it as levels of ascension. But the next thing is, how does that apply to cycling through your life? If you consider the first dimension as a child, a youngin', somebody that's just here, just learning, their view of the world and themselves could be considered maybe one dimension. Most babies, children, it's just me. What I want, what I need, what I deserve, how I act. That's really important. It's a time when I eat, when I sleep, when I crap, it's just you, and then you get a little bit more mature, or you can grow up a little bit more, and now there are other people in your world. There's your parents in your world. There might be other siblings who become part of your world, or an animal, or a pet that becomes part of your world. And now it expanded to what I would refer to as two dimensions. So not only they're you, but there are other people involved. Right? Now, the third dimension, as far as cycling through, you got a big F-150 or something. Now the third dimension is kind of like adolescence into adulthood, or manhood, womanhood, where you start to incorporate the world. That would be the depth. Not only are there people around you, but there are others, not only in your city, in your state, or in the country, but in the world. Your awareness to things expand out, expands out to incorporate a lot of different things, a lot of different avenues, a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different ideas. So that's the depth level, where you have more depth. You can see things better, you can see things clearer, you can see around things, you can see things coming, right? So now you're an adult and you're moving through the world. So you're cycled through three now. This fourth cycle is the one I think most of the people who participate in this, that's where we're at now. It involves all those three, but it also involves time, right? Not the fact that you can travel through time, but it's like time spent, and that becomes a real part of your reality when you realize you have less time in front of you, which has to do with time, which has to do with the future. And the time now, how it's spent, what do you do with your time? Is it positive? Is it negative? Is it wasteful? So the dimension of time kind of rears its head a little bit more prominently than it would in the other dimensions, in my opinion. So it runs parallel to the mathematical concept of dimensions, the spiritual concept of dimensions, and now the physical, actual living, concept. If you want to think of it as dimensions, which is what I'm putting forth. So that's the idea, How does it? How do you use your time? How does the other aspects of your life, the other dimensions of your life, are playing into this stage of the cycle, you know. And when I say things like you have less time in front of you than you have behind you, I'm not um, trying to just think about the end. I'm trying to realize the point that I'm at and enjoy it and, get the best out of it by not thinking too much in the past time and not thinking too much into the future, which is also time, but forgetting the time that I'm having right now, forgetting the time that I'm living right now. So yeah, that's my thing today. Think about the fourth dimension of your life. Think about the time that you're living right now. Be aware of it, cherish it, understand it, and make use of it. Yeah, so that's my thing this morning. Just want to thank you for hanging in there with me and continuing to I guess support would be the thing. Yeah, like, share, all of that, and we're in here. We'll be navigating through this stuff as we go, because I am the navigator.